In my She Reads Truth Bible, the CSB version, there's a small section that I'd like to read titled Christ's Sufficiency. Early in my first pregnancy, doctors discovered there was something wrong. My tiny baby's bladder was blocked and his kidneys would not develop correctly. As the weeks ticked by and ultrasounds showed the problem worsening, I didn't know how to pray. One evening at a church service, I listened as the band belted out this chorus, "Your grace is enough for me," and I found myself at a fork in the road. Was God's grace sufficient for sick babies? Was it sufficient for desperate prayers that seemed to go unanswered? Was it enough for this, right here and now? My knees hit the floor and I made a choice. Though I desperately wanted God to take away the blockage in my unborn baby's bladder, I would choose to believe His grace was sufficient for the healing and for the alternate outcome of a baby with bad kidneys. That sweet baby boy is now a rowdy first grader with permanent kidney damage, and I am a mama forever changed by the reality of Christ's sufficiency. I'm not crazy about the restrictions my child has, or our regular trips to the specialist, or the seemingly chronic fear that his condition will worsen. But I've yet to face a worry, a doctor, or a limitation that God's grace isn't big enough to cover. I keep praying for God to heal my boy, and I keep falling to my knees, declaring Christ as sufficient, and He is. Paul knew this rhythm. In 2 Corinthians 12, he described a thorn in the flesh, something he wanted God to take away, but for whatever reason, God did not. I'm grateful Paul spared us more detail. It helps us to see ourselves in his place. We all have a thorn or two, don't we? We all have something that pokes and prods at our hearts, something we've asked God over and over again to remove, but so far, He has not. When Paul asked God to remove the thorn, He answered him saying, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. Therefore, I will most gladly boast all the more about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may reside in me." Paul didn't see God's answer as a glass half empty truth. Instead, he found good reason to brag about his own shortcomings. Our insufficiency helps us press into Christ's sufficiency. I have a friend who says it this way: anything that causes us to depend on Christ is a good thing. When we lean on Him, we will always, always, always find Him strong enough to hold us up.